Yo, what up, everybody? This is Jesse Zaragoza and Ryan Vega on a new episode of iRake Mentality Podcast. Today is a special day because we have one of the premier players in the city, which we're gonna speak about all night tonight. I'm very excited for this one. Ryan, I don't think you saw him at the tournament, but I did. I got to face him, and he did some damage. But tell us a little bit about this past weekend at the tournament, Ryan.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him perform. I saw a couple of the videos of his bombs. His nice lefty stroke, and looks like an athletic kid. But yeah, wasn't able to cross paths with him, in this tournament. But Leon has a pretty long-standing reputation in baseball. They're always getting guys here and there, so I'm sure he's a great pickup. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting to know this kid.
Yeah, definitely. Leon is one of the teams that's I think it's the second oldest team in the entire city. It's behind La Barca. I know they're 1975, 1972, 1970. Like they're both right there. They were the two first teams that ever entered the Azteca League back in the 70s. I hold much respect for this team, that he's a part of in the family that they're, that contribute to this team. We got to face them in the South Sub tournament, and they didn't disappoint. I know it was going to be tough, and they ended up, persevering. And their pitching, their manager is really good. A lot of guys don't give credit to management. They think that players, as a player yourself, they think players are the ones that win the games. But let me tell you, Leon's manager, he knows his stuff, bro. He does his thing, and he knows how to manage that team. And I really respect him for the way he manages. But today is all about Christian and everything about him. And I got to know him a little bit last year. He faced us in the Azteca League. He got hurt in the playoff game after hitting literally a bomb. He hits a bomb, has to run the bases, and this is why Azteca's having fences now, is because it should be called the Christian Lucio rule, because he was running around second base. He gets hurt after hitting a 400-foot bomb against us, right? And I felt bad watching it. I wasn't there, but I seen it. And this is why we're having fences now, because no one should have to pull a hamstring rounding the bases after 400-foot bomb. So without further ado, today we're bringing on one of the best in the city, one of the best. I guess he could do everything, because I've seen him in outfield. I've seen him at second. I've seen him at short. One of the best lefty hitters. I'm a lefty hitter for everyone that doesn't know me, but I like lefty hitters, bro. I'm just a lefty, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr. Now today you get to see Christian Lucio today. And without further ado, I would like to bring on to the episode of iRake Mentality, Christian Lucio. Welcome to the show, Christian. What's going on, brother?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. I'm definitely excited to get going.
Bro, I'm happy to have you on the episode of iRake Mentality. I know we met last year, and today is going to be a special day. We get to tell your story. Me and Ryan are excited to have you, as we're just starting our iRake Mentality podcast, but you are definitely one of the top players in the city. So with you as part of Leon, you're with Leon Baseball, right?
Yep, 100%.
Real
blood,
quick,
actually, I should say it's in the blood.
Why are you part of Leon Baseball? Is that because so you say it's in the blood, so is it family?
Yeah, so my grandpa was basically one of the founding players of the team. And they've had it around since the 70s, like you said. And it's always been a family thing, from on the field to off the field. I've done has consisted of what we're doing for each other as a family. I feel like that keeps us so motivated to be on the field and play for one another, because that connection runs so deep.
For sure, man. And just a little story before we get started is my first game against Leon. So I come from the Benito Juarez Baseball League, which is another men's team that was dominant in the city for many years. And the Bravos took me in, and this was after they had just won a three-peat. And my first game ever in Azteca was against Leon. And I got hit three
Oh wow.
times in the game. I got hit 3 times. I don't know if it was on purpose. I know you guys are watching. Was it on purpose? Put it in the comments because I still think I have it on video. I was like, one of those had to be on purpose because I was a new guy and I was coming into the league. And I just love the way you guys play since the beginning I've ever seen you guys. And I know you weren't on that team back then. I think you weren't still in college. And I just love the way you guys play. You remind me a lot of like when I was younger in that team, and it just grinds. But let's get started with you, Christian Lucio, and where it began and where it comes from. And you come from the city of Chicago, correct?
Yeah. Specifically south suburbs, Chicago Heights. But anytime I go out of state or anywhere, obviously I'm gonna say Chicago.
The Chi-Town, for sure,
Yes, sir.
man. And you, so I didn't know this. I got to know you over the past week or so that we started doing this. You ended up going to Mount Carmel, right?
Yep. All 4 years at Mount Carmel.
But before Mount Carmel, you were just a little kid that could pose. Like I'm looking at the picture on the left, and you sent me this earlier, and I was trying to put it together. I was like, you had to be maybe what, 6 months?
Oh shoot, I don't even know. All I know is I was probably holding that baseball out the womb. It's this is in me. Baseball, I was born into it. And then on that picture on the right, that's actually me and Diego Munoz right next to me. So,
The
we
short,
go. Yep.
he's a killer.
Oh yeah. So
He's,
shout out to Diego. I know you're watching.
Diego's a beast, bro. I've played against him for many years. I love him as a shortstop. Smooth hands, play D1 ball. Quiet. He's quiet, humble, but he's ready to kill you
Oh
on the
yeah.
field. I could just tell in his eyes, like, beat your ass, but I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
quietly.
Oh yeah.
But
That's his game right there.
I was looking at that picture. I was like, dude, a baby that's 6 months and he could hold himself up, take a picture, pose, and hold a baseball. I was like, he's special.
Hey, and you could tell in that picture, I'm not letting go of that ball.
Looks like a changeup right there, bro.
Right.
So you grew up in the city of Chicago. Chicago is known for its baseball and the South Side perspectively. The South Side, I think, I know a lot of you Northern guys, those like Clemente guys, they think they got it up there, and they do. They got good talent, but the South Side's where baseball is born and bred. I think we just have this grit that we're born with. Did you ever play travel ball?
Oh yeah. I started playing travel ball officially when I was 10 years old. Yep. So that picture right there, we're in Memphis, Tennessee. That was like one of my first big like travel ball tournaments. That facility was just beautiful. It was like a field of dreams to me. And being able to experience and go out there and play kids from other states was like just jaw dropping to me that you can go out there and do that.
And is that you, the second one behind the catcher?
Yeah.
Dude, you were how old were you?
10.
You're a big 10-year-old, bro.
Yeah, that's a big 10-year-old for sure. I feel like a lot of kids from the city, though, for some reason, I don't know if it's the lead in our water, but I feel like we grow so much quicker because, I had that similar experience, where, so we started playing travel ball in Wilmette, and I brought a lot of guys from the city, and that Wilmette team was really, really bad. They just had, a bunch of guys from, North Chicago, more north of Chicago, but they were, these little kids. And then, I'm bringing over all these monster 12-year-olds and we're hitting bombs, left and right. We went to Cooperstown as well. That was a blast. So yeah, you definitely look like one of the bigger kids in this group for sure. Were you hitting mostly in the middle of the lineup here, for power, or what kind of role were you playing on this team?
Yeah, I was probably like 2, 3, 4 around there. And
Okay.
I mean, again, we got Diego Munoz right there in the middle. We've been growing up playing with each other since we were
Did Diego wear
youngins.
glasses?
What's that?
Is he behind you wearing glasses?
He's right in the middle. He's looking away.
Oh, I see him. Okay,
Yeah.
damn. Yeah, he's a stud, bro. I love Diego. He's a great person. Just a person. I love him to death. I would play with him any day of the week, but as a competitor, I know what he brings to the table, man. He wants to
Oh
kick
yeah.
ass. He wants It's in his veins. And every time I play him, I'm like, dude, you're so cool, but damn, you want to kick someone's ass. Like he's so, bro. I love him. I love him. Diego, shout out to you, man. You're one of my favorite players. So we're moving on here. You end up at Mount Carmel. How did you end up at Mount Carmel?
So my high school journey, originally I was going to go to Marian Catholic because that's in my backyard. Literally, I could wake up at 7:30 every day and get to school in like 10 minutes if I went to Marian. But I chose to go to Mount Carmel, I would say one of the influences in making that decision was, going and visiting the school and doing one of those orientation days. And Nelson's or Diego's older brother, Nelson Munoz, went there, and just being able to watch him play, and see the guys that he had around him, Josh Stowers, Jake Capers, all those guys that were D1 guys, K.O. Thomas, there's just so many names that I could list off. And seeing, what they brought to the table and the fire that they brought during the games when they played, it was something I want to be a part of, and even if it wasn't in my backyard, I was gonna make it happen.
So Munoz, he the guy that you're talking about, he plays for Leon, right?
Yeah. Nelson, he was playing third base, and then he moved towards first towards the end of the game as Diego's older brother.
So what I heard about Nelson is that back then he was just a monster. He was bigger than everybody.
He on the mound, his presence was he's the same way as Diego. They're quiet, but on that field, they're gonna kick your ass, and they're gonna do what they need to do. And he's just a beast, and just being able to go watch those games, especially making his state playoff run and stuff like that. It's awesome. It's basically like how you and I talked about, your son and 64 and Dante. It's just those moments that really light that fire.
Bro, like I said before, man, I'm a St. Lawrence kid through and through, and my son is talking about Dante, built on Dante. I'm like, you don't know shit about Dante. We're not from there. We're you're St. Lawrence blood. He goes, no, Dad. He goes, those guys in Brown are very good. I want to play there, and I'm just like, I can't fight it anymore. It's Rita Lawrence family, but he wants to be brown and white, man. He just keeps talking about it. But that's awesome that you have, Nestor and Diego. Those are four two hitters that you have on Leon. Like I said before, Leon's very, very, very tough. I was telling my guys when we played you at the tournament, I was like, it's not over. We hit that homer. Rick hit that homer. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And they're all hyped. I'm like, it's not over. I was like,
right,
stop.
yeah.
This team is very good. I was like, be very ready to go. And you guys proved it. And, I hope to have a second chance at you guys later in the year. But moving on, we have, this picture here, and you are literally being hugged by one of the top talents in Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Alek Thomas.
Alek Thomas, tell us about how it was playing with Alek Thomas, who, for those that are watching the show and don't know who Alek Thomas is on the Diamondbacks, Arizona Diamondbacks, had a humongous home run against, I forget who in the playoffs last year, made his name there last year. And, he's a speedster, hits bombs for, he's probably 5'10", maybe.
Yeah, we're same height. Yeah, 5'10", 5'11".
This guy's out there just doing his thing in the show. But tell us a little bit about how it is playing for, next to a guy that, was a top 5 talent in the show.
Yeah. So just being able to go to school with Alek, and experience the field with him in general, it was awesome. Obviously we know what his talent is on the field, but off the field, just an even better person. You wouldn't be able to tell that he's got all these accolades and all this stuff, just by the type of guy he is. And at the end of the day, that's the type of people you want to surround yourself with and see grow, on both sides, whether it's me or him. It's always like a motivating factor, it's just bringing that edge and that fire every day and being able to bring that out into the field with us, along with the goofiness. that guy right there, he's funny. You guys wouldn't be able to know, but Alec Thomas is a funny guy.
Is he? So
Yeah.
when you were together at Mount Carmel, what was the order like? Was he like the 3-hitter, you were the 2-hitter, or was he the 4-hitter? Or like how did that go?
Yeah, it depended on, more so how our lineup was, working and stuff like that. But Alec was usually towards the top of the lineup. There'd be times where he'd bat lead off or he'd be in that 2, 3, 4 hole. And then yeah, I'd be around there like 3, 4, 5. But yeah, right in the middle.
Both lefties, right? He's
Yes.
lefty. Yeah, so I mean that would be tough. How did your senior year go? Like how did you guys end up doing?
Senior year, we lost to Brother Rice in one of our regional games. They had a really great team. A lot of good of my buddies went to Brother Rice, and we're on that team, that beat us. So, respect to those guys because at the end of the day, our goal was to have the careers that we've had, and in saying that, I know you guys know the statistic that, the percentage of guys that go D1 and stuff like that from baseball is like very low. And, I can say that a majority of the guys that I played with ended up playing in college at D1 or just playing in general, and it's a big accomplishment in itself.
For sure, man. I actually read just yesterday it's like 0.00 like 10
Yeah,
of the guys
yep,
that go
yep.
pro, and the guys that go D1 is like 0.10. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
um
it's
so
really low. I mean, I just had a quick question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
How was that work ethic? Even going from you just finished your senior year. What did you notice? Even from Alec, I'm sure his work ethic, was really high up there throughout high school. And you're trying to do your thing as well, right? You're trying to go to the league,
Yeah.
so you guys are probably competing, at practices and stuff like that. But, where did you really see the biggest difference between going to high school and college, when it came down to work ethic? Like, what were the top players doing, that those other guys weren't?
For me, it was just kind of getting out of that comfort zone and not labeling yourself, as that freshman, because you get to school and, you can feel like the freshman and stuff like that. And obviously, when I was a freshman, I was listening to the older guys and, seeing who was leading by example. But I wanted to be that guy right away. Why not? Because if I'm trying to earn myself a spot on the field or, just even respect in the locker room, you have to be doing, you have to be on top of your shit. You have to do everything, and then some on and off the field, whether it's extra work in the cages, getting your work done and, just being able to balance all of that.
Hmm. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I know that. And sometimes it's so funny because some of the best baseball players that I've played with really did not, they weren't baseball enthusiasts, right? They were those guys
Hmm.
that liked hockey better, but they just were all Americans naturally, right? So they weren't leading the practices, in stretching or running or things like that. But always the team leaders, at least the teams that I've been a part of, those are the guys that are setting, the example, that are leading by example at practices, and then obviously that translates in the game situation. So that's kind of goes into my next question. So when there's so many good baseball players, on a team, that kind of everyone wants to be the leader. How do you differentiate yourself from them? Is there anything that you think that you do better than guys that you can help them with, or what does that look like?
To me, it's just being able to help other guys out. Just like you said, everybody wants to be a leader, everybody wants to do their thing, but at the end of the day, it's a team game. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not helping the guy to the right and left of me get better and be, trying to make them be leaders on the team, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
Because it's contagious. It just like when you feel success, you don't want to lose it, and you just want to keep it going and people feed off of it. The guys around me feed off of it, and vice versa.
Yep. Love it. Love it.
I definitely agree, man. It's so the best players make the ones around them better. And I think that's how winning is done. It's you have your best players leading by example, and it's contagious. The energy is contagious. The work ethic is contagious. Just everything about leading by example is everything. And one thing that I did find out about you that through this process, and it's very satisfying to me to say I know you now. It's that you were the award recipient for the Stevie's Way tournament, and for a caravan to win that award means more than anyone else winning the award. Just because specifically it's about the Stevie's Way tournament. And can you tell us a little bit more about the tournament that you are a part of, the Stevie's Way tournament, and the award and what it means to a caravan?
Yeah. So, first of all, the Stevie Bajensky tournament, the Do It Stevie's Way, is one of the best tournaments in the whole state. It's kind of like that lead up into playoffs too. So, you're seeing the best competition, the best guys, being able to get a look at, what you might see come playoffs. But, there's just an edge that you bring into those games that makes you want to play even harder because it just means so much. Before the tournament, they hold an event, honoring Stevie and what he's meant to not just the game, but to the people around him. And, it really makes you think about, like your purpose within the game and just in general, because at the end of the day, your tomorrow's never promised. And, you want to be able to be that light in someone's life.
Definitely, man. And as I've gotten to know you in this past week. I know we've chopped it up a little bit. And what really stands out to me is just how humble you are. You know, for being as good as you are, and how you are as a person, and the fact that you won the Stevie's Way MVP, and that just says volumes, not just for your talent, not just for how you are, but as a person and how you carry yourself. At that time you had to be, what, 16, 17 years old. And for a coach, because that's ultimately a coach award, the coach kind of chooses who they think bestows the the award. And for your coach to think that, as you were a senior, right, at that
Yep,
time,
senior.
you were a senior, as a leader and as how you carried yourself and what you represent at that age, says volumes about who you are as a man growing into a man. And I think that you haven't let them down to this point. Like, you're much older now, but I think you still carry those values just by speaking to you. I can, I'm not with you every day. We're not boys like where we hang out
Right.
every day. But like, just by speaking to you and how you carry yourself, even me as an opponent, how we talk, and you could feel the respect that's there. I know that you've played at a high level and others might have not, but you still speak to them in a way where you can relate to them. And I really appreciate that about you, and I could tell why you won that award. And one cool tidbit about that award is we found out that you and my brother both
Yeah,
won
yeah.
the award, and that was one of the cool things that I did notice. Um, but now we're moving on. You're in your summer of Mount Carmel. You guys did your thing. Alec gets drafted. You go, and you have a solid career ahead of you. You end up going to what is this? The All American? Can you explain about
No,
it?
so this was actually right before my senior year in high
Okay.
school. This was the MLB Breakthrough Series. So
Okay.
basically, the Breakthrough Series is a program that brings in minorities from the big cities around the United States, and it's basically like one big all-star team. So at these events, I got to meet Bo Jackson on the right. I also got to meet Ken Griffey Jr., Dave Winfield, Hall of Famer. Shout out to Coach Lou, Luke Heyer. He was one of the people that was able to get me into this event, and he always told us, playing with him, you know, I'm I, I'm giving you the answers to the test. All you got to do is apply it, and I did. I felt like I did, and I always tried to make sure that I stood out, because just being a part of a program like this and seeing where it's at now, it's incredible. There's a lot of guys in this picture right here. We got Lawrence Butler. He's a outfielder for the Oakland A's. He just signed a crazy extension with them. JP Massey's one of the top pitching prospects in the minor league. one of my good buddies, Kyle Sally. He's right next to me. He pitched at Duke and then ended up going to Georgetown. Just a bunch of guys in this picture that have built careers off of this game, and made it so far and stayed connected. At the end of the day, staying connected has always been a big thing for me. Because we can have these short interactions and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna make sure you remember how I make you feel, because that's just the type of person I am, and just building good relationships, can be a good thing for you at the end of the day.
For sure. And before I continue, Bo Jackson's one of my favorite players. Like that guy was a beast. And
Yeah, meeting
almost
him was like his forearm was like my thigh basically. It was ridiculous, and obviously he was, he's older, retired, obviously, and just seeing him and being able to meet him was crazy. I was kind of starstruck. I'm not gonna lie, because you hear all these stories, you see all these highlight, videos of him on the baseball field and the football field, and now you're saying that I get to take this picture and speak to him for a little bit, like mind blowing.
bro, I would have been asking for an autograph the whole time. I would have been that kid, but no, the thing is, you hit it right on the head, man. And I think you learned that a lot earlier than most guys. It's this game is not only about competition and the furiousness behind it, but it's about connecting. And I think what I'm trying to get at, and I told Ryan before, I was like, this is all about connecting people to other people. Because at the end of the day, we can all help each other. Like, yeah, we might be competitors on the field and, might hate each other 1 minute, but at the end of the day, this is about connecting everybody together to be able to help each other. Like, there's no reason why this community cannot come together as a whole, whether you're in this league or that league. And if you can help each other in any way in your profession or, even in baseball, just get together and it's so much better for everybody. And that's kind of the goal of this. And you hit it right on the head. It started for you at a young age at 16, like where you're just connecting with other guys and where it could get you in life. And that's a great thing, connecting and, integrating. But one thing you did say, and one of my favorite baseball players of all time, Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh yeah.
I've never met him, but you got to meet him.
Yeah.
Tell me about meeting Ken Griffey Jr. And I don't know, Ryan, who your best. Mine's are Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr. Who's yours, Ryan? Who's your two?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't say no to those guys, but yeah, like Derek Jeter, right? Obviously, he'd be number one, and kind of going in from there. But I have a handful of people that I've met. I would be starstruck if I met Bo Jackson. That guy's a freak, man. Would have been awesome to meet him. Ken Griffey Jr., kind of, a star in himself. So yeah, how was that, Chris? Even just kind of being around that. I mean, could you tell? That they carried themselves differently as well, whether they were talking to
Oh
someone
man,
on
yeah,
record or
100%, a hundred
right.
percent. This picture was taken down in Vero Beach at the Elite Development Invitational, which was basically the Breakthrough Series. So we were there for a week, got to work with former major leaguers, and talk to Hall of Famers like Ken Griffey and Dave Winfield, all those guys. So just great experience. But his confidence fills the room, and obviously it should for the player that he was and the accolades that he has. I actually have a video on my phone of him at the podium talking to all the players, talking to all of us, and he's going back and forth with some of some of our coaches, and that he played against, talking shit to them, and we're just dying laughing, and he's like, and that's why you wouldn't throw me a fastball down the middle, or you were pitching around me the whole game and stuff like that, and you could just tell that he exerted that confidence, and obviously, for the player that he was, you have to, you just you're that guy, and you carry it with you, every step of the way. But at the end of the day, he was a great guy. He was able to take pictures with all of us. He took his time. He talked to each and every one of us. And it means a lot. For us coming into our junior, senior years of high school and being able to speak to a figure like him. It motivates you.
For sure, man. Did he give you any pointers as a lefty? Because I know you're lefty. So, like, did he give you like any pointers?
He just said stay confident. You know, when you get it to the box, you have to you have to know that you're going to win the battle before you get in there. That was his biggest thing. You know, he really didn't talk anything mechanically. It's just about the mindset. You know, and that's something that I've seen. You know, with some of my guys that are playing pro ball and stuff like that. Like it, and you guys already know this game's 90% mental and the other half is physical. You guys know that saying. And it's true, it really is true.
So kind of like the iRake mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
So real quick, what is we've developed developed the name iRake mentality about a year and a half ago, and people would look at my license plate and be like, "Oh, iRake." Yeah, I rake. Like what that means, maybe I don't rake that day, right? Like
Right,
I believe in my mind that I am a good hitter, but ultimately what that means to me and what I'm trying to give out is the iRake mentality of when you step in that box, you have to be in there with the mentality that I do rake. Like nobody could beat me in this moment today. This moment right now, that there's nobody better than me right now, that it's going to take your best to get me out. And for you, what is like the iRake mentality would mean to you as a player?
I mean, honestly, I'd probably say the same thing. It applies on the field, but more so, I apply everything that I do on the baseball field, outside of the field too. Um, Carrying my confidence around the way that I do, treating others how you want to be treated, and just doing things, to the best of my ability. Because why not? Why wouldn't I? If I'm putting as much effort as I can to play the game that I love, why can I do that when I'm outside of the field, with just everyday things, the little things matter at the end of the day.
Absolutely, man. It's the attention to detail that makes the difference between great and good. It's the small things. And you were with Mount Carmel, you get recruited by Eastern Kentucky, right?
Yep, yep.
So you get recruited by Eastern Kentucky. How was that recruitment process for you? What made you choose Eastern Kentucky?
Yeah, so it actually started off while I was in the Breakthrough Series. They had an event in Chicago that I had got invited to, and Coach Thompson, he was at the event and he was able to speak with me and kind of get the foundation of that recruiting process going. And for me, he's a person that always kept me in the loop with what was going on and vice versa, checking in on me, seeing how things were going, and at the end of the day, you want to be able to put yourself in a position where you're going where you're wanted, and I had that feeling, when I went to EKU, and obviously, I was able to get offered a full scholarship to go to school, and that was one of the biggest things for me, to help out my parents because they've already sacrificed so much for me up to that point. That was like my biggest goal, to be able to do them that favor and go to school for free, essentially.
For sure, man. I think that's every kid's dream, is to go to school for free and continue their playing days. You end up going to Eastern Kentucky, and I did find this video here of you, which, by the way, I do want to speak on it because it is insane how you were able to take an inside fastball and go 330 Apo Taco. I'm just like I watched this video maybe 100 times for everyone that's watching. I still can't fathom how you got that ball to go Apo Taco like this. And for those that that don't see this, here it is.
Amateur drafts in terms of the African American players that are being selected at the higher rounds. That number is impressive as well.
And that's a home run. Unique variety for Christian Lucio, giving it a ride down the left field line. He muscles up and keeps it fair. It is 6-2 Eastern Kentucky.
Christian, he took part in our elite development camp, and really talented athlete.
First off, how did you do that? Second off, was that against the University of Miami?
No. That was the Andre Dawson Classic,
Okay.
down in New Orleans, and we played FAMU, Florida A&M.
Okay.
So I think that was our first game of my freshman year. or it might have been first or second, but that game was on MLB Network as a part of the tournament, which was awesome. Being able to do that on TV, was pretty sick. Like after the game, I couldn't even keep track of how many notifications I had.
Bro, so that was an inside pitch, right? Low and in.
Yeah, it was like basically like probably if we're going 1 through 7, I'd probably put it at like a 3. One
A
being
3.
closest to me.
Were you surprised you hit that out?
Honestly, my mindset was run. Like if it goes out or not, like I'm getting extra bases. And
Did
then
you think it
obviously
was
when it went
foul?
over, it was like a sigh of relief.
Wait, did you think that was a foul ball off the bat? Did it feel like a foul ball off the bat?
It didn't feel like a foul ball. It just, I knew I got solid contact, but
Damn.
I'm like, all right, this is either over or hitting the fence, and I'm getting these extra bases.
Dude, Apo Taco is for I'm a lefty, so those that don't watch the show, I'm a lefty, and that's very difficult to do. I maybe done that maybe a handful of times, go Apo Taco on an inside pitch. Rarely, maybe not ever. And that I was watching that over and over. I was like, how the hell did he do that? Like you just got inside the ball, right? You got inside the ball.
Oh
put
yeah,
some spin
yeah.
on it. So you're at Eastern Kentucky. Was this COVID year? So I want to kind of transition into your next stage of your ball career. You were at Eastern Kentucky. You end up going to Florida Southwestern.
Yeah. So,
How was that transition?
um, yeah. So after or when COVID hit, when everything got shut down at EKU, we were having a great season. I felt pretty confident with where we were going, with how I was feeling and everything. And obviously, COVID shut everything down. We ended up being 14-2 before everything. So it kind of sucked to have that momentum, drained from us and knowing what we had in store for the rest of the season. But at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. And, I was able to make that next step to FSW the following year, which is funny. I got a really crazy JUCO story. For all my JUCO guys, anybody listening,
That's me.
I was actually,
We're
what's
both
that?
JUCO bandits,
Oh
bro.
yeah, perfect. Then you guys will totally relate. So after the COVID season, 2020, going into 2020 fall, everything's kind of going back to normal. We have to wear masks everywhere, stuff like that. I get back to EKU for the fall. My head coach, who recruited me, Coach Thompson, he ended up accepting a position at Georgetown. So he left, I think, like a week and a half into the semester starting. And at first, it was kind of like trying to figure out what was next with who was going to be our coach and all that. We all figured that our pitching coach Sean Cole was going to be next in line, but that wasn't the case. They ended up bringing in some other coach from South Alabama, and I didn't really fit with how he was coaching the team and how everything was going on early in the fall because I gave it like a month before I made my decision if I wanted to go to FSW. And I was actually in talks with the coach, Coach Ben Vizier, to go out to FSW before anything. And obviously, I'm out of college, NCAA. They can't do nothing to me right now. So I'm going to tell my story. But yeah, so mid fall, I basically made the decision to go down to FSW. I drive down there after our last fall practice with EKU, and I go down to Florida, and I just jump right into it. I'm sleeping on a couch in one of my teammates' rooms. I wasn't a registered student there, and how it worked out was because my classes from EKU were all online. So, I was able to do my classes in Florida, and it wasn't like I was missing anything because everything was online. So
Right.
I'm sleeping on my teammate's couch, going to practices, and they're like in the middle of the Fall World Series. So I jump right into it. Mind you, 4 or 5 of the guys on the pitching staff, they're playing pro ball right now. So I'm going from EKU where we just got a new coach. We're trying to figure out a new flow of the practice, all this stuff. And these guys are damn near mid-season form, just carving. But like it was awesome to be like that FSW team. Shout out to those guys. Those guys are family right there. Every guy that I played with, I consider family, but that team was just special. We had a bond and a connection that made us so successful. And, we had that grit that, we didn't think that, oh, we're not going to lose today. We thought, oh, we're winning this motherfucker today, and that's all we thought about every single game.
So Florida, obviously Florida, Texas, California, right? Everyone thinks baseball, that's where they go to. They play year round. They get to play every single day of their life since they were like 5. You're from the north, you're from, Chicago area. You come down here and you end up on the single season batting record, which I found. I'm thinking this is a single season batting record of like when you were there. This is a single season batting record right now, like today. And you are on damn near every list. And the one thing that stood out to me was the triples list. And where were you here on the homers list? Still to this day, you're at 12. You're in the top 5 of you had 12 home runs in a season. And this is insane because not only do you have the base hits 865, was this 2 years or 1 year at Florida Southwestern?
This was 1 year or
1 year,
semester.
65 hits, bro. What the hell? And then like you go on and then runs, you're tied 5th with 54 runs. So that means you had a good team around you. And I seen you on another list here. You're right here in the runs batted in with 48. Bro, were you just thinking, okay, I'm going to like pro ball from here? Because these are ridiculous numbers, dude. You're like in Florida JUCO.
Yeah, so actually it's funny, I would, down in Florida, season starts or end of January, mid-January, which is crazy, being up here in Chicago, you're like January, and that just goes to show, how often and how much baseball is being played down south. And that's something that I've always wanted to be a part of, and being able to go down to FSW and, kind of bring that Chicago mentality down there and have that confidence to know, okay, like, I'm here to bring success to this team with the guys around me. And that first month, January, I think we had like 5 or 6 games. I was probably around like, I don't know, maybe 300. I don't even know. But for February, it definitely kicked in. I went through a slump for sure. I will never forget, for the month of February, it's ingrained
you went
in my
through a
head.
slump with those numbers?
Yes, for the month of February, throughout that whole month, I hit 154, and that's a number that I will never forget because I was going through it. Something wasn't clicking. I was overthinking, it was just, being away from home too. There's a lot of factors that played into it, but at the end of the day, I had my guys behind my back, my teammates, even support from here back home, to know that, like, I'm gonna get through this. This is part of the game. Like, if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't have made this drive and made this drastic change, in my life to not be able to challenge myself. It was a real challenge. That's what it was. And at the end of the day, if I'm not challenging myself, how am I gonna get better? And after February, I ended up picking up really right when we started conference. And I think, like, throughout conference, I probably hit close to like 370. And I just I just kept that rhythm and that confidence, And shout out to Ray Sierra. He's actually one of the major league hitting coaches for the Twins right now. One of the directors. He was my hitting coach at FSW, and just to see, where he's at right now. And we always talked about that Mamba mentality, and having that grit, and that, that I'm gonna win this battle. And like I said, Mamba mentality. You guys already know what that is. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the Kobe highlights and the hype videos.
Oh, you're
That
a
was a big
Kobe
thing.
guy all day. You were born in 2000, weren't you?
Yeah. So that was a big factor for me. Was just instilling that confidence in myself, and having that killer mentality.
For
I love
sure.
that you brought up that slump as well, because that's so real. And we all go through a slump. There's going to be a 1-game slump, a 2-game slump. everyone's going to hit a slump. I was just coaching a camp on Friday, and I had a kid raise his hand and ask, hey, what do you do, to break out of a slump when you get into it? Do you still get into slumps? And I tell everyone every year, of course, every year, there's always going to be a slump, and the best players, they prepare for that, right? They know that they're going to get into it eventually, whether it's a game, 10 games, 20 games. So really, how did you break out of that at the time? And is that something that you do today as well, right? Because, we're all going to have bad games here and there. I'm sure you have your stints of, maybe a game or two that doesn't go so well, but so how does that, breaking out of that slump back in the day, how does that compare to how you do it now? Is that the same, or what does that look like?
I would say it's the same. It's kind of for me. Whenever I feel like I'm overthinking, I take a step back. Because if I start thinking about mechanics or just about numbers or anything in general, and get too ingrained in all of that other stuff, when you're on the field, you're there to love the game and play and do what you do. And if you get away from that, I feel like that's what causes that tumbleweed. So yeah, just taking a step back. Obviously getting the extra work in, getting some feel stuff, and not trying to do too much. Because I'm pretty sure you guys know you can definitely overhit. I've definitely done that before. Just trying to figure out like what I'm doing wrong or what I need to do right, and really being able to take that step back and analyze. Okay, take a deep breath. This is what I got to do. I know I can do this, and like I said, confidence at the end of the day is what really helped me.
Love it,
man. And I feel like we have to be confident. I'm gonna run this back real slow because I analyzed your swing for about going on 7 days now since we lost to you. I'm trying to figure out how to beat you. And it's very difficult because I think I can analyze very well swings. And I just feel like you have your bat in the zone for a very long time. Like your bat stays in the zone very long where it's just a mistake. Like you just can't make mistakes. And we have to allow yourself to beat you as a hitter. And look at this. You're off the bat just exactly how it's supposed to be. The bat's over your shoulder. And this is back when you were what, a sophomore?
Yeah. So this would be like my junior year. It was like sophomore COVID year. You know how that goes.
So like obviously you're a more mature hitter now, but like
Yeah.
just to see this swing, it is damn near, I want to say, perfect lefty swing. And I'm a lefty, so like I enjoy lefty swings. You're landed, you're open hipped on the front, you're on the back, ready to explode. You got your back, your back shoulder back, it's pinched, it's ready to go. All it is a whip. It's a whip through, and I'm pretty sure this was either a double or a single down the line or whatever it might have been. But
home run. It was a home run.
Okay, it was a home run. There you go. So like there it is. It's a home run. Your swing is, it's very pure. Lefty swings are always the purest. I feel like I get told that all the time. And you're one of the very few in the city that have that type of swing. You go from Florida Southwest. Now you're eligible to go anywhere you want, right? After
Yeah.
Florida go.
Yeah.
So after JUCO, you end up at Marshall.
Yeah. So I ended up at Marshall. Throughout that summer after FSW, I did have a lot of conversations with coaches like in the Big Ten and stuff like that. I actually talked to one of the coaches from Illinois, but the only thing that was stopping me from going to any of these schools like Illinois, Purdue, Maryland, all these coaches that I was talking to from all these schools were my credits from EKU wouldn't transfer over. So that would have put me like back to basically my freshman year, and that wasn't something that I wanted to do. And it was unfortunate, because I put in the work. I did what I needed to do to, you know, put myself in that, prospect range to go to one of these bigger schools. But for me, at the end of the day, like I look back at it, and everything happens for a reason. I'm grateful and blessed to be able to have gone to Marshall University and played with the guys around me for the 2 years that I was there. And, I met my girlfriend there, and, we've been together now for almost 3 years. So, it was meant for me to make that journey and go that way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Things happen for a reason. Our choices are meant to be. Like, I don't ever regret any choice I've made because I know that's where it gets you in life. That's where you're at in life. And if you're happy in life, those were the right choices. Right here on the left, you have your coach, right? That's your coach and your parents.
Yeah, so Coach Beals, shout out to Coach Beals, and then my dad Rick, and then my mom Maria.
So your dad looks like he's in very much good shape here. Did he play baseball before? Is that why you fell in love with the game? Was because your pops?
Oh yeah, I mean, my grandpa played baseball, my dad played baseball, my uncle Ruben, his brother played baseball, all my cousins play. It's just we're a baseball family, and that's just I've always been around the game, whether I'm at Cow Park watching Leon play or we're going to a White Sox game because we got some tickets, and it's just like I said in the beginning, it's in my blood.
For sure. And I think me and Ryan are both the same way. We come from baseball blood. Like we're what they call born in the dugout. You're raised in the dugout. And if you're raised around baseball, there's only one choice. It's baseball.
Yeah.
It's to succeed in the sport that you love so much. And that comes either with your family or comes with your friendships or wherever it might be where that love of the sport comes from. And I think that's why we're all here today. No matter where you went in life, it could have been, D1, it could have been pro ball, it could have been JUCO, it could have just been high school. We're all here at the same park. So I tell people all the time, it's once you're on the park, you're all on an equal playing field. There's no history to it. It's just you and the guy in front of you, and let's go to work. And I think that's the beauty of what men's baseball in Chicago is. It's guys like you, guys like Ryan that played high level baseball, that come out and still compete with the guys that maybe never played D1, right? I never played D1. I know a lot of guys that didn't play D1. And for you guys to come out and, compete with us and, give us everything you got where you're not, you don't come out and say like, I'm better than you, right? Like your mentality isn't that. And most guys that I meet from D1 or Pro Ball aren't that. Like they just become one of the guys, right? And I think that's what you bring to the table for your Leon team is like you're just one of the guys and you help them become better. You help them become great. And it's a pleasure to play with you against you guys every year. And as moving forward onto your story here, we're going right in from Marshall. You go and play what Arizona Complex League?
Well, so I was a strength coach with the Dodgers, and we won
First.
the Complex League this past season in 2024.
Okay, so
Yeah.
one of the things in your career that I do want to touch up on is, and one thing for those guys that are watching, that are still in college ball, or you guys, that are freshmen or sophomores. I know a lot of you guys watch this show. It's it's not so much that what are you going to do with pro ball or after ball. It's like what are you going to do with your career? And I feel like getting to know you this past week and a half, it's you do know what you want to do with your career, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And tell us about what you are doing now and what your career is and what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, so, getting into that Dodgers role, it's funny because in the beginning of 2024, I actually went to do an internship at the University of Cincinnati with their football team. So I was supposed to be with Cincinnati from January to the end of semester, let's say May. And early on in Cincinnati, one of my roommates, Jose Galvez, shout out to him. It was my first day that I met him, and he worked with the FC Cincinnati, the soccer team out there, and obviously we're kicking it and getting to know each other. And he actually put me on with this website called Teamworks Online that had the Dodgers application on it, and the deadline was due the next day. So the first day that I move into Cincinnati, this guy that I just met, he's showing me this Dodgers application, and obviously I fill it out, shot in the dark, send it in. The deadline's due the next day, and mid February is when I got the call. That I was offered the position to work with the Dodgers, and I went through two interviews, one questionnaire, filled that in, sent it back in, and then two interviews, and then I ended up getting the call that, hey, we want to offer you the position to work with the Dodgers. And it's crazy because when I got out there for orientation, I told my parents that I applied, and that probably 300 or 400 other people applied. I didn't know. I didn't know the exact number. But when I got out to LA and they told us the exact number for orientation, it was me, 13 other fellows selected out of 6,000 applicants.
Jesus, bro. And you know what? You deserve it. You're a hard worker. I could just tell. Like, you come from a strong background. You are very humble. Just from meeting you, I think we got to meet each other on Sunday, right? Like when we were about to play, and I kind of told you, I was like, you are not getting a thing to hit
Yeah.
in the championship, right? But that was just talk, because I had to see what you were made of. We had to go against you. We had to throw to you, and you made us pay. We could have walked you easily. Just from me knowing a little bit about you, I wouldn't have pitched you. But it's spring training. I wanted to see what you had, and you made the most of it. And I kind of want to show a couple highlights of you in college before we move on to what everyone wants to see, is the men's league, because that's ultimately where we end up, where our love goes. But this next segment of the show is brought to you by Vega Baseball. And I'll have Ryan right here explain a little bit. Vega Baseball sponsors the iRake mentality portion of the show, where we show your at bats. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. So yeah, Vega Baseball, that's something that my dad started in 2007. Professional baseball instruction throughout Illinois, even in Indiana every now and then. But we've got some big things coming. So we're partnering with Alvaro, the league owner of Blue Island, and we're going to be running a kids camp next month. So definitely reach out if you have a kid ages from 7 to 18 is usually our bread and butter. We have a lot of high school students, college students, a few professional clients as well. But our slogan, our main mission is to help as many kids as possible. We didn't grow up with thousands of dollars to throw towards professional instruction, growing up here in Chicago, but we're trying to pay our dues now and help as many kids as possible enjoy the game of baseball. Hey, you know what? As you mentioned earlier, Jesse, there's going to be such a small percentage of kids that make it to high school, to college, to pro ball, and even lucky enough into men's league. But as we know, winning is fun. You're not really having fun if you're doing badly on the field. So our job is to help you practice in the cages and get right there, so that when you get on the field, as you can see when I play Jesse, Christian, if we ever cross paths, when I step on that field, I'm all smiles, right? I'm having a blast. And it sounds like you're very similar as well, Christian, because you, like you said, you have that confidence, you put in that work behind closed doors. So, when you get on that field, you outworked everyone already. Right. So that's kind of our mentality. So, if anyone has any kids that need any lessons, we still give lessons to men's league players as well. We set up weekly hitting sessions. So yeah, if you definitely want some more baseball, contact us.
Definitely. And hit up Ryan if you need some training up. What Naperville area, anywhere in the the burbs area, definitely hit Ryan up. If you're in Chicago, he'll travel.
Yeah, my father's out in Naperville. I handle everything in Chicago, so there's nowhere too far that we'll be willing to drive for our clients. So definitely let us know if you need anything.
Definitely. And that leads us right into one of the videos that I have here. And I have a few really awesome videos, but this video I'm about to show, Christian, is your fire. And one thing I did get to see firsthand is your fire for the game of baseball. Big moments. You're not afraid to, let it out. Like, let that rage out a little bit. And it pumps up the fans. I know, shout out to the Leon fans that are watching. You guys are wonderful people. I've faced you guys many years, 5 years now, and I love facing Leon for the fans, and I hate not having to be able to face you again this year, because you guys make baseball so much fun. You're not only your fans, but you have a lion that's out there in a full getup costume. And it's a beautiful thing. What you guys are doing for baseball in the city is amazing. I wish I could play against you guys again this year. You're one of my favorite teams to play against, and a big shout out to the Leon fans out there watching. But that also comes with your players. And one of your players here that we have, Christian, is raging. Here we go. Bro, Marshall University, you get that many fans there?
So that was actually one of our like rivalry games against WVU, and we
Okay.
were at a neutral site. So a lot of fans came out. We were at the Charleston Dirty Birds stadium where they play. So it was packed. I'll tell you that. And I was able to hit a grand slam off of them. They ended up winning the game, but just that moment, it's priceless. You never forget it. That's why we play the game. To have that competitiveness and and show that fire.
For sure, man. And I've seen you for the last 2 years. I gotten to play against you for last year and this year. And it's a pleasure to play against you. I grind my teeth every time you come up the bat, bro. It's like, God damn, here we go. But one of the things that you are also known for is your glove. And I still don't know what your main position is, bro. I've seen you at second, short, center, and left, and I don't know. I'm like, dude, this kid just play every position. But something tells me you're naturally an infielder.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I am. I've been playing outfield, because it goes better for our lineup and our defensive positioning, and I'd rather be that guy out there in center where I'm gonna go track down whatever I can, and it's fun, I like playing outfield. I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. My girlfriend Grace, she played outfield in college, and she played professional softball this past year, and she was a center fielder. So anytime I make a catch or do something, I'm like, "Yo, you see that?" Like,
Oh,
I learned that. I learned.
damn well she's teaching you about the drop
Oh
pass.
yeah, I said I learned that from you. Like, did that look good enough? So.
That's awesome, man. And I'm gonna show a couple highlights here to keep moving forward. The defensive highlights here is sponsored by Sanchez Midfix on IG. You can give them a call or shoot them a message. They did one of my gloves here. That's right there in the picture. It's a brand new Rawlings. It's the Pro Preferred Series. Anthony Rizzo, he was able to break it in, relace it, give colors for my team, get it back to me within 2 weeks. Hit him up. Not that expensive. If you need a glove relaced or you need any glove work, hit him up. He's one of our sponsors here on the show, and he's sponsoring the defensive highlights. And so I'm about to show this video, Christian, and you got to play against some teams, bro, that I only could wish I could play against. And this video here I have is the LSU Eastern Kentucky game. You got to play at LSU, and LSU has Tommy Tanks, has all these guys that are national champions from 2 years ago, and probably we'll get to that experience in a minute. But I want to show you at third base, and here's a video.
Mathis aboard at first, nobody out, and smokes one hopper at third, going to be handled by Lucio. The throw to second.
Oh, he looked out at
the
first.
Lead runner, they tried to turn two, but Milazzo beats it out at first. Nice play by Christian Lucio, diving to his left. Looked like that was for sure going to get by him on the quick one hop, but he's able to glove it.
Ooh,
get the throw to second
on a shift too.
Side for this Eastern Kentucky defense.
Bro,
that's a good pick. That second baseman needs to come through that damn bag, but you almost got that guy, man. That's a really good pick.
Honestly, I'm surprised at how fast the hitter was moving.
He was flying.
Every time I look at that, I'm like, damn, he was moving. Like, I thought that was for sure, because he smoked the ball, and I don't, I feel like I got up pretty solid, and then I seen him running down the line. I'm like, oh shit, he was moving.
For sure, man. And I mean, on a shift pool like that, and you make the play the way you did, that's pretty fucking impressive, man. You have another play here.
Field. 2-1. Line drive, and it's right at that second baseman who makes a diving attempt. The shift was played perfectly. Lucio, a diving stop at the line drive by Barry, and that's just the shift working to.
All right. I have two things to say about this. First off, Fuck the shift as a lefty. That's a base hit.
Right, it should be. We had it played perfectly though.
Hey, ask your manager about the Leon shift against me. That thing plays every time on Sundays. But you made a great play, bro. That's you robbed a hit there, and you're playing second. So that's why when I look at you, I'm like, I don't know if guys ask me like, what does he play? I was like, I don't know. Everywhere. I was like, I can't. I've watched him. I've watched you maybe for 2 games last year and maybe 3 this year. I'm like, dude, every time I see this guy, he's at a different position. I was like, he must be just like an overall like great athlete. You were at second base that play, third base the play before, played against us in center. And dude, what makes you such like a valid defender? Like, where did you get like that? Because that's gifted. That's not something you could train so much.
Just putting in work and having, the right coaching and tools behind me, being able to have the opportunity to play with Coach Luke Heyer and Coach Mike Davis, shout out Coach Mike Davis, Jeff Lattimore, all those guys, Coach DB. I could have an endless name of guys, that have instilled, that mindset of defense first, and defense first, and then shout out Coach Mike because he was always on my ass about hitting opposite field. So, being able to just have that ingrained in me is something that I've always been thankful for because it's helped me out in areas throughout my career. Just being able to use the whole field because at the end of the day, being able to put yourself in that all around position, defensively or offensively, helps you get on the field.
For sure, man. And I think I think you started playing men's ball last year, correct? Was that your first
So
year after?
I would say like officially. I mean, I've always played in the games whenever I've been back from school or had some time in between collegiate summer. I've always gone and played it because it's just I always want to be on the field. I can't get off the field. It's so hard. It's just having that itch. It never goes away. It never goes away. And like after career or after my collegiate career, there's guys that make posts where it's like, I've loved where this game has taken me and, all this other stuff. And I've made one about my career ending at Marshall. But at the end of the day, like, I never knew, or I knew that I was always going to be around baseball, whether it was playing or coaching or going to work with the Dodgers. Like, that's me, that's who I am as a person.
For sure. And speaking of working with the Dodgers, before we move on here, you ended up. So what's your career again?
Strength and
Athletic
conditioning.
strength. Okay, so strength and conditioning, and you were able to work with the Dodgers as a strength and conditioning coach.
Yes.
And learning from the best, obviously, because the Dodgers have endless money, I guess nowadays. It's printed, right? Like Otani and
Yeah.
everything. But you were able, like, I thought that was his translator right there on the right hand side. I was like, dude, this guy's playing with Otani's translator. But the thing is, you get this opportunity, bro, and you make the best of it. Obviously, you have a strong head on your shoulders. I could tell that you're going places in life, and I'm very happy for you. Tell us a little bit about your experience, being a strength and conditioning coach for the Dodgers and being around all these guys here and winning. Well, you could explain what did you guys win?
Yeah. So I was able to get out to Arizona around the beginning of March. So still during spring training, and honestly, man, working with the Dodgers it's like it's eye opening, because obviously we know what the Dodgers are as a baseball team and all the accolades that come with, who's played for the Dodgers, the World Series, Jackie Robinson, everything, but being able to be inside of it and feel that culture and be able to be a part of building that culture was awesome. And right there, we got Antonio Knowles. He was actually my teammate at FSW, so that was our signature handshake. We always just, did a gentleman's handshake, and being able to work with him out in Arizona and see him, it's crazy, because our paths may have been different, but it brought us to the same place, and he's definitely going to have a year this year. And all my guys playing pro ball, shout out to you guys. Have a year. You guys know what you can do, all the confidence in the world, and can't wait to see you guys do your thing. But yeah, just being with the Dodgers in general, from learning from other strength coaches, my director, to the coaches in general, to the athletic staff, to the medical staff, everybody's in unison. Every single person is in unison, even down to, you know,
The guy that rubs the
the guys,
baseball.
even down to the guys working on the field, you know, like our grounds crew, you know, everybody was in unison, everybody was on the same page, like, and that's why the Dodgers are the organization that they are. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, obviously it comes down to money, all this other stuff, but if 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 the bottom of the order isn't working, you know, then how else is everything going to manage to reflect itself when it comes to success? And that's what the Dodgers are. You know, they just figure it out. They figured out what to do, and you know, yeah,
Dude,
that was an awesome experience.
so you learn from the best. Obviously, everyone could admit the Dodgers are the best organization right now. They're doing the things, you know, their way. They're recreating everything about baseball, not only just, you know, the way they spend the money, but the way they train
Oh
down to
yeah, and honestly, like the first day that I got there, you know, I had staff members, coaches coming up to me, you know, saying like, "Hey Christian, how you doing? Welcome to the Dodgers organization. Like, this is the best organization in baseball." Every single person that I met that first day came up to me and said that. And obviously, you know, I'm trying to take it all in and figure out what I need to do for the day, or soak it in general, you know, and it helped me to relax and feel comfortable, you know, and that's what that atmosphere is, you know, that's all they bring to the table, you know, is, you know, doing the right thing. And obviously the prime example is Otani. You know, that guy's schedule is pinpointed to the second. It's crazy. It's actually ridiculous. But, you know, you have to be if you want to be a future Hall of Famer and be that superstar all star. So just being able to see that, you know, playing itself out, and seeing all the guys that I got to work with, and, you know, shout out to my Dodgers guys, you know, um, they're awesome. Everybody there is awesome.
For sure, man, and that goes even off the field. It's I know a lot of people that are very monotonous with their work ethic down to the T. It's those small things that most people would look over and just say it's okay. Let's keep going. No, the people that are at the top always want to say, okay, no, this needs to be perfect before we move on to what's next. And it's the intricacies of everything that you do in life. And I think that you were able to have like that edge being part of that organization as a, you know, a young man, and, you know, going into the industry. And for a lot of guys that watch this, a lot of the youth that watches this, I know a lot of youth that watches this, high school guys, it's not over just because you might not have the talent to become a pro, because remember, it is the 1%. It doesn't mean that you can't work with the game of baseball, right? Whether it's, you know, creating your own facility or building your own team, or, you know, being part of an organization like you are with strength and conditioning and other avenues. And I just think that's very cool that, you know, you followed the love of your passion and you kind of transitioned with it into, you know, the strength and conditioning aspect, which is very cool. And like we spoke earlier, Alec, your teammate who's now in the bigs, his dad was, you know, the head coach of the White Sox. And he did wonderful things with his life and his children. I know when you have kids, I'm sure you teach them, you know, and it continues, right? Um, but one real quick thing before we get onto the men's aspect of baseball, I know that's what everyone's waiting for. It's the men's baseball. Is that you did it, every success story has setbacks, right? And I'm gonna show a little video here, which kind of I don't like to watch it. I watched it once and I was like, I don't want to watch it again, but I'll show it to everybody. Just because I'm not one to see things like this. It's your setback, right? It's was this Tommy John? I don't know what it was, but tell us a little bit about this right here.
Yeah, so this is actually one day post my Tommy John surgery. So actually, to begin the season at Marshall, my first year, it was early on in the season. Like, I don't even know how many games in we are, but it was like right before conference. My elbow was bothering me. I really didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how it happened. I ended up getting an MRI, and I had like a chipped bone in my elbow that was basically like grazing against my tendon and like slicing it in a sense, basically making it weaker and stuff. And I could have opted out early to like medically redshirt for the season, but when you put in so much work and effort, you just want to be on that field. So my trainer and I, shout out to Jake Agnes, he's awesome throughout the whole process with the Tommy John, and not just physically, but mentally. He was always a guy that I could talk to, and he was the guy I was spending most of my time with. I spent my summer after my first year at Marshall recovering, doing rehab so that I can be ready for the next season, because I knew that I needed to spend every day, every second doing absolutely everything to be back out on the field. And that's what I was going to do. I stayed at school in West Virginia. Everybody's at home, going on vacations, and I'm waking up in the morning, going to rehab for a couple hours, and then going to the weight room for a couple hours, and doing whatever I could do to, enhance my progression for rehab, and it's a grind, physically, obviously, but I knew I could handle that, but more so mentally, because I've always been a person that has stayed on top of, my fitness and my health and everything. And, it's you start from square one. They took the tendon out of my left leg and put it obviously in my throwing arm. So I'm not just rehabbing my arm, I was rehabbing my leg as well. I'm going in the treadmill pool whenever I got to that point, and just grinding it out every single day, and at the end of the day, like it didn't make me a stronger baseball player. It made me a stronger person, because it's a lot of perseverance to go through.
And I think everyone in life, not just baseball, but just every single person that might be watching, every single person that just lives, goes through those type of moments in their life. And you have two choices, right? You have the choice to give up and kind of, get down on yourself and, just let it go. Or you have the mentality to, say, I'm going to use this as a positive, turn it around and, focus on what's at hand and accomplish the things that you did. And just like Pedro right now just said, is congrats, Christian, on your accomplishments. And I think that's one of your accomplishments. It's being able to mentally strengthen yourself to say, you know what, just because I have Tommy John right now and I'm at the point where I wanted to be, doesn't mean it's gonna stop me. It's gonna make me stronger. And I think that little obstacle in your life, well, not little, but big obstacle in your life, is going to lead you to bigger and better things now that you are a strength and conditioning coach, because now you have to like you're gonna see this in other guys, right? As a strength and conditioning coach, they're coming from Tommy John. Now you can relate to them at a different aspect, and I think everything happens for a reason, and maybe that is the reason. Like, hey, you're gonna be a strength and conditioning coach one day, and this is something where you could relate to your players.
Oh, 1,000%. And for me, it's not even going through that experience, but being able to share that with other people. It doesn't even have to be Tommy John. Just going through an injury in general sucks. And being able to help a guy out that might be down on himself, mentally, and give them that confidence boost, that look, like, you might not see the light at the end of the tunnel right now, but like, keep walking, like you'll get there.
For sure, man. And that's going to lead us right into our next segment, which is our final segment of the day. It's our men's baseball segment, which everyone stays and watches. But before we say that, I guess this leads perfectly into it. It's brought to you by Inspire Brand. Inspire Brand's over my left shoulder. Bath salts, dog products for, dog anxiety, calming anxiety. You got, CBD ointments, you got pain relief, stress relief, tinctures, anything from mushrooms to CBD to THC. There you go at inspirebrand.com. Hit them up. Use code iRake mentality for 20% off. And with that said, we're going right into the segment right here. And now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Now I think we're getting more viewers. This team, your men's baseball team, and everyone kind of falls into a men's team eventually, but this one's family to you. I guess this is like where you end up. Leon Baseball GTO stands for Guanajuato. They're very close to where my family's from. They're just maybe I think an hour away. tell us how you as a D1 athlete, go through Tommy John, do all this with the Dodgers. Now you're playing with us, our community, right? You're with our community here in men's baseball. What do you enjoy so much about playing men's baseball in your community?
Just being in the game again, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, having that itch to be on the field, it never goes away. So being able to be on the field specifically with, you know, Leon's not a baseball team. Leon's a family. And I will always say that, and everybody on the team will say the same thing. We don't play for, obviously we play to win and all that other stuff and the success that comes with everything, but we play because we enjoy the game of baseball, and like that's what bonds us. That's what brings us all together. And being able to do that day in and day out, whenever we get the chance is, the memories last for a lifetime. And that's what really draws my attention to be able to go out there every single day and just be able to be on the field and enjoy those moments.
For sure, man. And let's give a couple shout outs here. I know like one of them in particular here on the bottom left hand corner is Mr. Garrett. A thorn in my side for 5 years before you even showed up. This guy is, I call him the impossible out, because you're either going to walk him, he's going to get a hit, he's going to get on base, and he's going to steal. And he's just a thorn in anyone's side. On the bottom left hand there, you could see him just scoring, getting jacked up. I think this is before your time here. And you have Nelson right there in the top left, right? That's Nelson.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
spoke about earlier. Great hitter, very quiet. I mean, they're just, all you guys are very humble. I love playing against you because you do it the right way. Yeah, you talk a little bit of shit here and there, like we all do, but it's in a respectful way. You know what I mean? It's in a way where you're like, okay, yeah, they're just doing their thing. And then you got your guy, bro, Agustin, who I think is, one of the best hitters in the game right now in men's league. I guess he is kind of like, you guys are kind of twins, except he's a little taller. When I
Yeah.
look at you guys, I mean, two lefties back to back in the order. That guy is a beast, bro. Like I've played against him for going on 6 years now, and he is one of the hardest outs. And then here you come along. It's like it doesn't stop. It's like what the hell? We are already dealing with this guy. Now we got to deal with this guy. And I think you guys, as a 3-4 punch or whatever you might be, it's very nasty. It's a nasty 3-4 punch. And not only with Maury over here and at second and or third, wherever he plays, you got Nelson, and you got your shortstop, one of my favorite players, that because he does it the right way, and he's also D1, isn't he? He played at Western.
Yes.
So your whole family is just a very talented family. It's the Munoz, the Guerreros, I guess everybody's family at this point. You guys played together for so long. And it was a great time playing against you. Real quick, who was the lefty pitcher that faced us in the championship?
Hickey, Brandon Hickey.
That is him. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I was with him the other night, and I told him you gave him a shout out, but that you didn't know his name. But I'm like, hey, Hickey, don't worry, you got your shout out. You got it.
So Brandon, I shouted you out. I didn't know your name. I faced you last year in Azteca. And I just didn't know your name. I'm sorry, I didn't know your name, but now I know your name. So Brandon Hickey came out and did his thing in the championship. Lefty. I feel like your manager was watching us because he threw a lefty at us and saw that we had 6 lefty hitters. And I don't know. Your manager is very smart, bro. I've watched him manage for maybe 5-6 years now, and I love the way he manages. It's hard in men's league to manage because everyone thinks you just go and play. But when you have a manager that goes out there and does his thing, I think we did get out managed that game. I think we could have done a couple things differently in the championship to put us in better positions. And I think your manager did a great job to put you guys in a position to win, and ultimately the players pulled it off. And here you go. You got Brandon. Good job, Brandon. I know you're watching. Good job, bro. Like I think you K'd me up on a 3-2 outside fastball. You got me to roll over in another 3-2, outside curveball on a double play. And I will give myself a little credit. I don't believe I'm an easy out, but you made it look very easy, bro. Good job for you, in the championship. And one thing about Leon that I really love, and here's the team. This is the championship team here. You got all the boys out there. You got Malcolm on the left. Malcolm came in and closed the game out for you guys. He's a dog. What else can you say about Malcolm? He came in for 2 innings and pumped Chad, and he let you know it was coming. Like there's no with him. I'm giving it to you. Good luck, hit it. If you don't, and he did his thing. And I do want to give a shout out to where is he at, bro? Is it right there kneeling with the kid? What's his name?
Rolly?
Rolly? Is it that your last year?
Yes. The Godfather. Bro, he's the Godfather.
Okay. He is the most he is the hardest person to ever get out. Like more than anyone I've ever met. He goes to 3-2 counts and he will foul off 10 pitches until you either walk him or he rolls over and gets a hit. And I'm just like, and everybody, he kept coming up, and I was just like, God damn, he keeps coming. And he came up with bases loaded, right? Was it bases loaded with you at third?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
With you at third, and I'm just like, he's gonna get a hit. I felt it in my bones, bro. This guy is a tough out, and he gets a hit to the right side. And I'll give it to him. He took one right in the gut. Like I think
right to his knee. Yeah.
Right to his knee, which, by the way, now that there's no umpires, you did not swing. Like, okay, like that was a hit by pitch. But I wasn't gonna say anything.
I know he's listening right now, like, oh, like that's what I was trying to say.
much respect to him, man. He is just so good, bro. Like, and all you guys are very good, and I love playing against Leon. I personally, I keep records, and I am 5-5 against Leon. We have to have that last game to, someone's got to lead at one point. There's much respect with you guys. I love the way you play the game. I love how humble all you guys are, and just how hard you guys play. And there's one thing that I do know, and I tell people all the time, it's, Leon's top 5, in my opinion, in the city. You guys just know how to play the game. You, Juju, and in a 3-4 hole, and then you got, your top of the order, and not only that, you got all the way 1 through 9. It's just a tough out, and you guys are going to be doing great things now that you're in what league are you guys in now?
The Blue Island.
So what do you expect in the Blue Island League? So real quick before we even get to the Blue Island League, what did you think about the Azteca League last year in your year that you played?
I mean, I always enjoyed playing in it. It's where we've been the past few years and stuff like that. And obviously there's history, when it comes to Leon baseball and the Azteca and, being out there, playing out that way along with, the other teams that are in the league. And at the end of the day, the best teams are going to face each other, and that's what it's about.
For sure. So you guys, one thing, like we have Labarca coming back. I don't know if you've heard. I know we've talked a little bit about it. Brandon came up to you, and I think he's at your level, right? Brandon, one guy that you could look toe to toe to. And one thing was, and I was so excited, bro. I was like, okay, we're bringing Labarca back. We need a rival. You always need a rival.
Right.
And I was like, Leon's our perfect rival. I was like, they match us, hitter for hitter, toe to toe, pitcher for pitcher. Like we can have fun with Leon. And you guys left. And I was very sad. I'll tell you, I wasn't so mad as sad. I was like, dude, I was looking forward to these like rivalry games and everything. But now you are in a different league. What do you guys look to accomplish in this new league?
Honestly, even early on, we're trying to show other teams that, we're here to play, we're here to stay, and we're here to do our thing. And we're always going to bring our A game at the end of the day, no matter what league we're in. And it's always about, just building that brand, Leon baseball. Like I said, it's family, and wherever we go, that's our approach, and that's what we're gonna bring. We're gonna bring that competitiveness, and we're gonna bring that family baseball.
For sure. And I see you here in the picture. You guys travel, which is really cool. You guys, this is in Texas, I think, last year. Did
Yep.
you guys travel to Texas?
Yes.
Who'd you play in Texas that you guys went out there?
Family friends, basically family. Another team out there that shout out to the Banuelos. They used to be Leon. Born and raised basically, and they moved out to Texas and they started playing men's league ball out there. So having that connection and being able to make that happen, shout out to Javi and shout out to everyone that made it work, because like I said, at the end of the day, we want to be able to branch off and do these things and keep building on what we already have. So being able to go out there and play, obviously, was a great experience, and to show what we have to offer, regardless, is what we want to do at the end of the day.
For sure. And I think you guys do it the right way. I think everything about your team is beautiful. Like one thing that I do remember is playing you guys year after year. About a few years ago, you guys did win the championship at the Azteca League, which is a very hard league to win. And you guys had the whole mascot. By the way, nobody has a mascot. Leon's the only team with a mascot. So if you see a lion out there, don't be surprised. You had a really solid team that year. They ended up winning it all, and I played. Actually, they beat me and the Bravos and Ryan. I don't think Ryan was there though, but they beat us to go to the ship after we had a 1-0 lead, and that's one thing that's I guess where I like learned to like really accept Leon as a top 5 team. I was like, dude, this team just balls. I was like, this team doesn't give up. It's gonna fight you to the very end, and they're gonna crawl till whatever they could do to accomplish their goal. And again, this year, we saw it. And I don't know if you remember when during the game I was telling the guys, I was like, it's not over. I was like, just because Rick hit a bomb, I was like, it's not over. I was like, this team is gonna fight to the fucking end, and you guys think it's over. It's not. I was like, and eventually, what happened. And we have a picture here. By the way, those black Nikes are fire, bro. I looked for them. They're way too expensive. They're like $200.
Yeah, I got those a couple of years ago, but they've held up since, and those are my go-tos for sure.
Those are sick, bro. I looked them up, but there you are. I think that was last year when you were, hitting bomb after bomb at the end of the year, making a name for yourself in that league. And ultimately, in the tournament, boom, there you are. You got the MVP. You hit 4 homers in one day, right? 4 homers in one day. I think it was like 4+ RBIs. You killed it, man. And I was, I had front row seats to it. And I guess we started talking after that, and I was glad that you were able to join our podcast. And so this year, real quick before we finish and wrap up, we got about 5 minutes here. What do you look to accomplish in 2025 as a player and as part of the Leon baseball team?
As a player and a part of the team, like I said, we're always gonna look to bring the competitive edge that we have, and be able to. We want to face everybody's best. We know we're gonna get everybody's best at the end of the day, and we're not gonna shy away from it. Like, it's just expected at this point, and that's how the game should be played. Why not? We're gonna give you our best, and we hope that you give us yours. Because at the end of the day, if we're not playing like that, then we're not gonna enjoy it. I want to be on the edge of my seat every single inning. For the fans, for us, going back and forth, everything. That's what makes the game fun, and just bringing that fire every day.
For sure, man. I think you guys are gonna provide that for that league. Leon, they're getting a great team, man. I'm very upset that you guys did leave. Maybe one day we'll be able to, reconnect as a team, and have those La Barca Leon games, which I dream about. Uh, and being able to go toe to toe with you guys, because you guys have created such a memorable team, such a talented team, and you guys have been together for a very long time, and now you guys are in your prime. So teams in the Blue Island League, I was part of Vic's White Sox in Azteca. We played in the playoffs last year, and I kept telling people, guys, if Leon makes it past us, they're winning it all. Like I kept telling everybody, I was like, this is going to determine the champion. I guess we got lucky that you did get hurt. I don't wish that on you ever.
Right, of course.
But we did get lucky as a team that you were, out of the game early, because I knew the type of damage you could provide to the team. But ultimately, obviously, we got the better end of the stick that day. But in a series, it could go either way. But I'm excited to see what you guys do as a team in the new league that you're in. I think that you're gonna give the White Sox a run for your money. Like I really do. I would really love to see that battle in a series with you guys and the White Sox. But ultimately, what I really wish is to see Leon versus us, La Barca. I think we could match up toe to toe. I think that it would be one of the greatest games to ever tell our kids about, with your fans. And I love your fans to death. Much respect to you guys. I know you F-bombed me maybe over 100 times in the past, but there's a lot of respect. So I take it with, a grain of salt. I love you guys. I wouldn't have as much fun without you guys there against us. I'll tell you that much. And maybe, one day our fans and your fans could get together and we could go toe to toe. If we can make that happen, that would be a beautiful thing for, all the city. But besides that, I wish you guys so much luck. You guys go get it, man. Go, like, you represent Leon, and you represent, a part of Mexico that, is very close to me. I'm from La Barca. It's not too far from Leon, Guanajuato. And I root for you guys, even though it is against my friends. That I have a lot of friends in Blue Island on the White Sox, and but I do root for you guys and everything that you guys stand for, and the way your manager manages and everything about it. And I can't wait to watch the season unfold. You'll have your run at MVP, but I'm not gonna lie, I think Agustin's gonna come at you for that MVP, bro. I was like, that guy's a dog too. I was like, Juju's a dog, and that's something that people don't realize because he wasn't there this weekend. Is like, they also have another guy, like another lefty that can hit 2-4 homers easy, and that's something that's going to be awesome. But thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. I know Ryan, he has the pleasure of you having on the show, and and everything that you provided and your story. And this year, good luck to you, man.
Stay healthy. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's number one priority. Yeah, is stay healthy. Keep having fun. It's contagious, like you said, and keep the game fun. Keep playing it the right way, right? Be humble and express it on the field. But yeah, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, man. But yeah, wishing you the best of health. And there's some good teams in that league. White Sox, Vic's going to give you guys a run for your money for sure. The Brewers as well. The Brewers are always solid, and a couple other ones here and there. So you guys got a good league. You guys have a bunch of good ball players. Yeah. So best of luck this year and stay healthy, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. It's been an awesome opportunity to be able to come on the podcast and just have that foundation and keep building what we're doing right now. Because you're gonna miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So the more that we do this, the more it's gonna grow, and that tumbleweed effect. And hopefully this becomes something major, down the road. But it's just that stepping stone. So thank you guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I appreciate it very much from my heart. Ryan appreciates this a lot. And we're trying just to grow the city of Chicago in baseball, right? It doesn't matter what league you're part of. It doesn't matter any about that. It just matters that you play ball and you love ball, and we try to grow it. And I know you guys have a great fan base. Shout out to Leon Baseball and your fans and everyone that, joined us today. And guys that follow Christian as well. But yeah, thank you so much, bro. You're really helping us a lot. And, I got to know you over the past week, just, chopping it up on, over the messages and getting to know you and everything about that. So, thank you so much again. But we have to end here. We could keep talking for days. I know we could keep talking about baseball, but for today, this is Christian, for Ryan. I'm Jesse. I just wanted to thank everybody that watched today. Good luck to Leon on their season this year. I see nothing but great things for you guys, and having a contention for a championship. I definitely want to play you guys eventually at the end of the year. Let's make it happen. Do your thing first, though. I want my crack at Christian here on maybe a change up low and in. I think that's I think that's what I was looking at. No, I'm just fucking with you, bro. But everything, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. For Ryan, for Christian, I'm Jesse. Thank you for tuning in on this episode of iRake Mentality Podcast. Tune in next Friday, which is the season ender. We'll have Jerry Silva, who played at Chicago State, is the ace for the Chicago Finest in the Burbank League and the World Series Police Firemen champions. But again, for Ryan, for Christian, I'm Jesse. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next week on iRake Mentality. Appreciate it, boys. Bye.
See you, boys.
See you guys.